So I'm super excited that today I'm able to welcome Dr. Julie Krull again to the Conscious Evolution Summit. A heartfelt welcome to you, Julie.
Oh, thank you. I'm feeling it too. Oh, thank you so much. It's good to be back.
It's almost, I mean, we haven't had really contact in between a lot, but you feel like a friend for me meeting you again. And that's really lovely.
Yeah, thank you. I feel the same. There's just a deep resonance there, and our hearts are connected through the ethers here, definitely.
Absolutely. And Julie, I just want to read a brief introduction about you. So Dr. Julie is recognized as a steward of the new earth, midwifing the evolution of consciousness and the ethos of wholeness as an author, speaker, mentor, and healer. With her authentic voice and visionary gifts, she is a trusted guide for evolutionary leaders and spiritual seekers everywhere. So, I mean, you are such a great match to the content of the summit. And maybe we start with, I want to invite you really sharing where are you just personally right now? I mean, it's a very intense time. Many people sense kind of a lot of pressure. What I also get is kind of overwhelm, especially with people which are in, let's say, helper positions. It seems to be so much to do and to bring forth and to support, and then there can come really this quality of, oh, there's not enough time, there's so much. And maybe share how you experience that, and maybe also share how you handle it and how you move it, and what are your suggestions to stay kind of grounded, more balanced, and still be available that universe life can take us.
I love that juxtaposition as you bring that in. It's like, how do we stay in this place of calm, centered, grounded place and get all the work done, and move forward and take those steps and face what life is putting in front of us with this pandemic and racial relations and so much happening on the planet. So thank you. This is a beautiful first question and a poignant first question. Wow. And as you asked that, the first piece that came through my mind as I was hearing was literally trusting the impulse of evolution. So I'm going to kind of muse into the trusting the impulse of evolution that's moving through us by also just presencing what's happening on the planet right now, of trusting Mother Earth, the mother. And for me, during this pandemic, I'm going through this, the pandemic sets in. We have social distancing. I'm in a rural area where we live social distanced. We that is a part of our life, is social distance. And yet, during this time, so much has happened to me personally. So as I'm checking in, I have a son-in-law who is a Black man who's talked about racial relations with me for years now. And everything that he's talked about has come alive. So they're not only in New Jersey and literally came to Nebraska to deliver my daughter and granddaughter to be safe during the pandemic, during those early weeks and early months as things were escalating in New York City, because his job is in the city and literally covering, as a cameraman, covering the news, covering, going in the hospitals, so to protect them, he drove them out. And I'll just share a story that literally on the way out, They planned their trip around safety, around where can we stop safely for food? Where can we stop safely for gas? Where can we stop safely for shelter to sleep? And that was the whole premise of their journey out here. And then while he was here, he came back to get them when things were a little more safe, when they created more safety and space for them to go back. While he was here, the George Floyd was killed and the riots broke out. And so from New York City to small town Nebraska, they began to have to map their journey back. So not only was it, where is it safe to get gas? Where is it safe to get food? Where is it safe to sleep at night and put our head on a pillow? They also had to deal with, how do we navigate around cities that were rioting? How do we plan our whole journey back, which is a 2-day trip? It's a long trip. And they chose the car route because it was safer than the airplanes. So how do we journey back now? And on his mind was, the pandemic was kind of secondary then to the violence that broke out across America. And I'm sharing this, Puria, because I listened to them and I'm like, wow, you wanted to stop in Ohio and you wanted to go here, and how about going halfway? And here are 3 places you could stop that appear to be good places for you on the way back for food, shelter. And I put 3 places in, and I'm not even going to say the state or the towns, but my son-in-law, who loves my daughter and granddaughter dearly and loves me dearly, said, Mama Krull, we can't stop there. This is a hotbed for the KKK in America. And it just broke my heart open. It's just the reality of what's happening came flooding into me in a whole different level, that not only this pandemic, but the reality of the Black life that he shared with me for years, that I kind of dismissed a little or minimized a little or put it over here like, yeah, I understand, but yeah, I understand. And it was like, Julie, this is your problem too. Now, this is your issue too. This is this reality of the world. So that has been on my mind this summer, the last several months of where do we go from here? And as that broke me open, you ask, how do we stay grounded? How do we stay centered? And I go back to that place of trust. I go back to that impulse of evolution that's moving in this world, that's moving in the field, that's guiding and directing and evolving all of life on the planet. And those 2 examples are real and radical. They're changing everything right now. And we have to believe and trust that the designing intelligence of the universe is at work, that the designing intelligence of the universe is guiding even these disruptions, even these radical moments of truth, even these heartbreaking stories that are in front of us. Not only the conspiracy theories, there's so much happening on the planet, but what we see is this impulse of evolution really working to clean and clear and heal and bring us together into the truth of who we be as one body, one planetary body that lives in diversity and beauty on purpose. On purpose. So all that all that racial discrimination, oppression, the gender discrimination, oppression. We could go into all the isms that we've created on the planet, and we can look at how this is our moment to clear that, to bring it forward, to bring it into the light, to be seen and to be experienced and to be understood in a way that we can literally amplify our healing and amplify that unitive, beautiful medicine that's coming forth on the planet right now. We see it as a racial divide. We see it as polarization. We see it as even politically, we're seeing the schisms and isms. But really, it's just this beautiful force of love and life showing us how literally there's so much more than what we've believed in the consciousness of separation on the planet. You know, we've been here for thousands of years, and a couple hundred years since the invention of science, we really have seen ourselves as separate than the earth and separate from one another and separate from a God creator source, separate from the cosmic abyss that's out there. You know, we've seen ourselves as separate. We've mastered the individual work that we've had to do for ourselves. And it's time for us to really heal and come back together and really understand ourselves in the wholeness. And so we're evolving. I'm going on and on, but I'll be quiet in a second. We're evolving. We're coming into this guiding impulse is bringing us into the place where we understand how we can live for the good of the whole. We're activated and embodied, and we understand that it's time to co-create whole systems health and healing and transformation. And we're in this place to really expand that whole world view. So those are the three components that I've been really working with clients and different audiences and teaching that this is our time to really move into this new place, living for the good of the whole, co-creating whole systems health and expanding a whole worldview. And that's the medicine of wholeness. That's the medicine of this impulse of evolution is bringing forward at this time. And so it is a surrender. It's a trust. And I remember, I come back to the Mother Earth piece. During this time, I also lost my mother. And so we've had the pandemic, and then we've had this racial relations and my heartbreaking experience with my son-in-law. And then I lost my mother. And it's brought in this very precise, pure reminder of the mother and nature and earth and the wisdom that's right here that we get to co-create with and engage with and allow the healing to just really come in and settle into every cell of our being during this time, and allow that mother to bring us back into that nourishing, nurturing space of our wholeness and our unitive wholeness, like I like to say. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to pause there and give that space and I'll let you jump back in. That was a long response, but thank you. It's so important that we trust this impulse and see everything that's happening is a part of this healing response and this evolution, this conscious evolution and the evolution of consciousness on our planet right now.
Thank you so much, Julie. It was just really very beautiful to listen to you and to move in that with you and to really let it sink in. And what I just noticed is that I totally relate to what you said with this this cleaning and cleansing process. So I also thought, I mean, when you have a wound and the pus is coming out, it's a ugly face. It's not nice, but then it's coming out and there is a chance to clean. And what I also sensed and got was I deeply sense what is necessary is that we become more vulnerable. And we get many, many situations where you just shared your story, what you where your heart got broken open. And there is this sense when we truly really want to live from our deeper levels, it goes together with vulnerability. It goes together with really transparency. You don't hide anything. You turn inside out, and life can really intimately meet you. And in all of these difficulties and intensity, I always recognize this invitation of life. So, can I really touch you intimately? Are you there? Am I able to really meet you deeply? And I just noticed that, especially in the modern world we are living in, the civilization, we've built so many protections and coverings and energies, so much mainly in the mind, where life has a hard time to really meet us, really. And just listening to your story, I noticed how important that is, this vulnerability and letting life touch, because I also relate to what you said. We need to be able to sense the evolutionary impulse, and we can't sense it when everything is covered and protected and our energy only in our head. So yeah, I can totally relate to that, because there you get the pure guidance where to put your energy. Maybe your mind says this, and the list, but when you are connected there, it's so clear where life wants you to put your energy. I would say it's not so much about what do I like, what do I prefer, but where does life want me to engage. And yeah, so there is a lot of similarity in how we deal with things, how we see it. And maybe I used a bit other words like you. And I really want to invite our audience just right now to maybe take a moment to sense, how do you deal with those intense moments and this overwhelm, what I mentioned in the moment? And do you have a sense of this inner stream where evolution moves through you and shows your direction? And just check for a moment, without judging, just noticing, am I tuned in to that impulse quite often, or a lot, or not at all? Just to find and navigate, where are you with that, what we just brought. So because I sense it was in the past maybe a luxury, but now it's a necessity, and in the future I guess it's our default mode, how we will operate.
That's a beautiful way to say it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do we allow it to be default right now, so that we're really in the practice and pathway of this new way of being on the planet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, Julie, if this would be maybe a moment to share with your words a bit of guidance, how people can maybe find this deeper connection and connecting to this inner wisdom and guidance. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. I'll invite the audience and you to close your eyes if you're comfortable, and just tune in to the breath, just to begin with. Just the softness of the breath, and really being mindful and aware of life breathing you, allowing, softening, and just dropping into that spaciousness of the heart center. And allowing that impulse that beats your heart and breathes your lungs to be fully present, to be fully engaged and expressed within you. It's always right here. And oftentimes, like you mentioned, our mind wants to get in the way and we want to be in charge. So just really sitting back and resting in the awareness that you are an instrument of this peace. And allowing life to breathe us into being, expanding that heart space, tapping into that silence, the stillness. In that space, we're fully in the knowingness, in the quiet solitude. We're in our wholeness and holiness. From this space, it's an experience of that holiness and that wholeness. So remembering from this place, we also tap into this unified field of consciousness where there is no separation, that we become the unified field. That impulse of evolution isn't something that we welcome in, but it's something that we are. And this unified field of consciousness isn't something that we have, but it's something that we are. And within that intelligence comes our ability to respond to the information that we are, that information informing life and being informed by all of life. So we come into this place as one planetary being, as one planetary body, and recognize ourselves as a cell within that body. And as a cell, we're in constant communication with the rest of the body. We're in the place of distributed leadership, that as the cell of who we be is a part of an organ and a system, working together in harmony with all the other cells and organs and systems. So we delight in the diversity. We delight in the intelligence. We delight in the self-organizing that this one planetary body moves with this impulse of creation, creating more life abundantly. And with the impulse of evolution, bringing us into greater states and stages of wholeness and holiness. So we relax into that impulse, trusting deeper and deeper in every cell of our being as we awaken to the unitive wholeness, consciousness as cells within a greater whole. The designing intelligence of the universe brings us everything we need in this place. And in the silence is the wisdom. In the silence is the guidance. In our wholeness is the blueprint, the pathway. And it's a remembering. And it is a default. So we invite this new way of being to fully come in to an embodied response, that this experience of wholeness and holiness becomes our default by how we embody and express and engage with the world around us. And this is evolution. We become that agent of evolution as we embody and engage and express on behalf of this wholeness and holiness. So with that, let's just all take one more evolutionary breath together. Breathe in that impulse of evolution, impulse of creation that's moving through us, allowing it to enliven every cell of our being and activate and amplify our holy blueprint and calling to be a vital part of this one planetary body on the planet, showing up in our greatest capacity to serve the good of the whole, to live for the good of the whole. And another breath, then we come back, and this is us. Here we are.
Mm. Thank you so much, Julie. That was beautiful. And I totally was in a space out of time. I really felt kind of being way, way before all of this existence, and then kind of embodying the whole universe, all planets, everything, and what was coming was always all is well, all is well, all is well.
Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful thread to pull through all of space and time when you do that. It's really, we all is well. It's so true. It's so true when we really come into that place. And we are that. We are that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I mean, I could stay there forever, to be honest. But we do. It's anyways. We
So
are in that.
bring that into here now. Let's just like really consciously, this is the practice, right? This is the default, is now bringing that we don't want to leave, and really coming harmonically into coherence with our mind so that they work as one instrument, one organism that carries that energy, that frequency forward, that informs every step moving forward, so that it's not like we have to leave here to go here and we don't want to leave. It's like, let's bring that in now and synchronize and create coherence so that everything is informed with that space, from that space, for that space. Yeah.
So beautiful. And what I also got the image where I saw the toroidal fields around the cells, and you could say around the bodies, and how the center of each toroidal field is connected with the center of another cell of another human being. So this place where there is this unity, where we all meet and where we can meet with everything and everyone, no matter where, in all times, in all distances. And that was really also very present in this meditation. And what was also there was, I wonder, what is your take on how important do you see we meeting together in such fields? What is the benefit, or what becomes even just possible when we connect, when we really realize that coming together in such a frequency is crucial?
Mm. You know, this is an important question that I get asked a lot, and there are many subtle realms and dimensions that are really important for us to understand, again, in that embodiment piece of coming together from center to center. So number one, we're always all connected. But what happens is that we have different realms that we're really working in here, this multidimensional beingness of what we're talking about through this evolution. So our collective consciousness is an energetic frequency. Okay, so my consciousness has an energetic frequency. Hawkins wrote about this a lot, and a lot of people will use that work to go, oh, okay, we have these levels. But there's also, there's a lot of amazing people who have spoke of the levels of consciousness and what happens in those frequencies, those domains that are created. So I might have my level and you have your level, and we're walking around in a different place doing life. So I'm doing life as Julie today, and here's where I am. And yet, if I turn on the news media or I go on social media and I tune in, we're witnessing different levels of the collective consciousness out there. So sometimes we're crazy, like, what? If I just go into my meditation space, all is well, and then I turn on the news, and this is crazy. So one real radical answer to your question is, when we come together and share this deep resonance as a collective, we have a direct effect on the collective consciousness. So literally, if we all tune into the news and we go there with, oh, this horrible thing's happening, and and then all of a sudden we're feeling ourselves and that frequency going down, and we come into a state of separation. You and I were just in a unitive state. All our listeners were in this unitive state. And then if we describe what's happening on the planet through the news source, brings us, if we tune in, we're right into separation consciousness again. And it's this versus them, and this is happening, and it's horrible, and it's bad, and it's and we're forgetting, oh yeah, that wound that's cleaning and cleansing itself, and that what's happening on the planet. So coming together developing a practice of resonance, creating greater coherence, community coherence, literally amplifies that vibrational frequency and brings us into this higher space of collective consciousness. And whether we understand that from here or not, there's this knowing inside that knows we're having an effect on the greater collective consciousness. So not only do we have this unified field of consciousness, we have to understand our collective consciousness and how that interacts and plays within this unified field, within the source consciousness that's that impulse of evolution that we're talking about. So it's not a spiritual bypass. And a lot of the new age understanding brought us into this place where we heard a lot about spiritual bypassing, and you're not feeling, and you're not da-da-da. But we're not talking about this from that new age perspective of holistic health and where we were, and even integral consciousness, holistic consciousness. A lot of what we've learned from science only took us so far, and now we're already beyond that. So it's not about connecting mind, body, spirit, and it's not a pathway that's that. It's really surrendering into that place that you just were and trusting that higher impulse. So coming together, number one, does that. It's the collective consciousness. It's an important practice. And we know that coming together as groups in meditation, in resonance, we're having an effect on the whole. We're measuring it now. We're measuring it in many different ways with science coming together in group meditations and group resonance. And we're seeing what happens where literally war stops and people heal. And so there's direct results of what's happening. But also the other side of that, and I'll just stop here, that I think is really, really, really important, is when we come together like that, when you ask me that question, the most exciting and evolutionary part is that default brings us directly into the space of hearing the field speak through us, witnessing and watching and being guided in real time, where the field speaks through us and as us in a whole new way. So it's not like I have to go to this quiet place and then listen. When we're coming together in a group way of creating greater resonance and coherence, that clarity comes through, and it's more direct, and it's like, oh wow, it's more than synergy. It's more than creating more than the sum of our parts. That's how we've defined synergy, is coming together, we create more than the sum of our parts. It's more than a synergized effect. It's a literal wholeness effect where we lose ourselves completely and something brand new is born and speaks through that field. So we become agents of the evolution of consciousness. We become agents of that impulse of creation that's moving through, and we hear clearly that guidance and that information as it's coming through, and we inform the field of that higher vibrational frequency in that, just like the toroidal field, like you said. Now, this might be language that is way out there for some, and it might be language that's very simple for some, but in that toroidal field, as we become that, then we're informing and being informed simultaneously. And there's much more clarity when we come together in community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just want to highlight that with we then as a group, as a organ maybe coming together, in giving different information into the collective, and only with that frequency as another kind of information can come to us in a way. This is where there is this interdependency, where we are needed in order that the collective can kind of bring certain information in. So this is, yeah, what I just want to highlight. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful reminder too. And it's like, it's the important direction of our time,
Yeah. So
is that we can presence that.
yes,
It's an emergence.
and that we are important, that it's not just something happening to us, but we also co-create that possibility that something different can come through us. So we are needed for that as well.
We're so needed to co-create
Yeah.
transformative change on the planet. We are here co-creating with that intelligence. So when we come together, we are an agent of that. Thank you. It's such an important message that all the solutions exist. And here we are, allowing ourselves to be those instruments in this emergence of the healing response. Yeah. To be whole again, healing, to be made whole again. Yeah. That's what the definition is. Yeah.
And maybe you can share a bit, because you offer really also a very beautiful space for that to happen, where you invite people to come together in a group. And I guess it emerged out of the social distancing situation, and you call it the connections field.
The connection field. Yes. Yeah.
So maybe share a bit about that. If people are now just being with us in this conversation and really have maybe this pull or push to join such a field, such a group, and there maybe with you they can find the possibility to try it out.
Thank you for that invitation, because yes, the connection field was born out of the pandemic, and Good of the Whole is the organization that's sponsored, and our mentoring stewards, we came together. We come together every week anyway, and we practice this. We have a global heart resonance call every Monday. We come together as mentoring stewards every Wednesday, and as community. So we practice this pathway. And when the pandemic set in, it was clear that social distancing and everything that was happening was like, what's our response? What is the healing response? And what do we do? Is we can't come together personally. Well, we've had this model that's been virtual for 8 years of coming together with people from all over the world to have that pathway through the heart. And so the connection field was a response. It came out literally. It was like, what do? We create a field of connection. Oh, the connection field. So what evolved naturally, because we were tuned in and listening to this impulse, naturally what happened was we just showed up and started listening. Oh, we're going to come together online via Zoom. And it's going to be a 24-hour thing. Like, oh, 24 hours, that's a lot. How are we going to do this? And so this small group of people that were working together as mentoring stewards, we said, okay, we'll show up. So the first thing we did was just created what we call the Resonance Lounge. And this is what we thought the connection field was. As we were listening, it's like, oh, we're expanding the time we come together so that anyone can come in, and each hour we open with this resonance. We open with an attunement, just like you and I just did. We come into this place and we remember, and then we stay present for each other to just listen and to be together. And so we called that the Resonance Lounge, and we did that for several hours each day. And people are like, I want to give my gifts. I want to give my gift into the field. I'm hearing the impulse to share. And so we started listening to that, and then different offerings that were thematic came, where like one of the first was men in connection, where men just wanted to be together as men on the planet that are heart-centered, that wanted to listen to this field and create greater resonance in their homes, in their communities, in their workplaces. And the men in connection be those warriors that were heart-centered. And so that started on Monday nights. And then, so all these people began to offer, like, I want to do this healing response. I want to do this one with music. And so everything just started to flow and people began coming in. And then beautiful Chief Lane Jr., he saw our video. There was a video that we created for the connection field, and I just put it out there in a group that we were in, and Chief Phil Lane Jr. saw this video, and this was months ago. This was probably March, and he saw the video and he said, they stole our idea. They're doing what we wanted to do. And he was all upset. He's like, how could they create this? This is what we were going to do. And then he just started laughing out loud and said, oh my gosh, of course, spirit creates through all of us. And we're tapping into that same vibrational frequency. And so he calls me right away and says, Julie, what are you doing? How are you doing it? We have to work together. I'm like, of course we do. So Chief Phil Lane brought his communities in, and the Four Worlds International Institute, and some training that they were doing, and those different sources of people started coming through, and they wanted to offer their gifts. And so now we're responding as communities are coming in and offering some training, offering different thematic things, but it all begins with this place of resonance. It all begins with understanding this impulse of evolution and co-creating the hoop of many hoops, co-creating this space of unitive wholeness, knowing that we're all here and we're hearing through our own filters and seeing through our own lenses, and we're bringing that in a greater and greater awareness and higher frequency. And so the connection field, there are some days we're there for 12 hours a day. Begin in the morning. Every morning there's a beautiful Mayan fire ceremony with a Mayan fire keeper. We have meditations, we have the Resonance Lounge hours, and then we have all these beautiful offerings that go into the weekend, 7 days a week. Saturday's more celebratory. There's music, there's poetry, there's lots of music throughout the week. I shouldn't say there's drumming, but there's talking circles. There's so much, and there's that diversity is coming in and building this, which is so beautiful. That it's not about a unified expression that's a narrow vision of the whole. It really is a unified expression of the beauty and diversity and importance of all of life being expressed through this. So that's the connection field, and it's growing. And by the time someone watches this interview, who knows what it will look like. And there's this desire for it to go 24 hours. There's a desire for us. We're just bringing Australia in now, and like other places, geographic places around the planet that can hold different time zones. So I hope it keeps growing. It's beautiful. Again, it's a practice of listening to that impulse of creation as it's creating us. So we're not doing it. We're showing up, saying yes, and it grows and it breathes and it has a life of its own. And if you're interested and want to be a part of it, go to connectionfield.org. We have a daily digest, a weekly, bi-weekly digest where people will see what all those offerings are and find the calendar. They can go to connectionfielddigest.org and sign up so that you get that email that literally shares what's available and when. And we'll just see where it goes. It really is about this unified field of consciousness and trusting the impulse of evolution and beginning these practices. And so it's a new kind of university. It's a new kind of community center. It's a new kind of healthcare system. It's just a new kind of everything that's holding this wisdom and intelligence in one space and opportunity where people can connect, feel this impulse and experience deep resonance, deep authenticity, deep intimacy, deep connection in a way that we just haven't in our daily lives until now. So,
Wow, wonderful. What I got is that it's really a heart resonance ecosystem.
yes, that's a beautiful. I'm going to take that back to the team. They're going to love it. A heart resonance ecosystem. Absolutely. That's a perfect description. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the way you are describing it and how organically it is expanding and how it's nurtured and gives fruits away, all of that's for me a perfect ecosystem. And I mean, when you have a healthy ecosystem, you don't need to control it. It there is a caring in the field, and because it sounds like you are just available, everybody contributes and receives what is needed and what is there, and so for me it's this
Ah,
ecosystem.
that's gorgeous. Can I quote you on that?
Yes.
Okay, that is gorgeous. That is the perfect description. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
And Julie, we are coming nearly to the end of our conversation, but in the just brief chat we had before I pressed the recording button. You also mentioned that a new book came out. Do you also want to share a bit what's in the book? So if people are interested to maybe dive a bit deeper into your wisdom and what you have to share.
Thank you for that opportunity. Yeah. I released a book. It's called Fractured Grace: How to Create Beauty, Peace, and Healing for Yourself and the World. A lot of these concepts are in that book. It was a beautiful book that wrote me. It starts with the title titled itself, the book named itself, but it started with a kind of a freak accident where I was just mindfully taking baby steps, walking down a grassy slope, and slipped and planted and twisted and snapped 6 bones. And so the book came through this experience of me being put in the chair to heal. So that healing intelligence was informing the book. And so I do a lot of storytelling, from my early childhood near-death experience to other childhood experiences that I had of being informed by this intelligence, and how my gifts were open during that time as a young child, to that being in the chair in a full leg cast and observing as my bones began to heal, and really understanding that healing intelligence and how that works in the world, to the prophetic vision of what's happening on the planet right now, and the healing that we're going through. So I just kind of weave that through the conversation in the book and do a lot of storytelling. And it was so fun it was not fun writing it. I mean, it was fun writing it, but I was scared to release it. I was like, really, you want me to tell these stories and I'm going to put myself out there and be vulnerable? And you mentioned vulnerability earlier. So it was like, okay, here we go. We're going to put it out there. But it's been an incredible experience watching and feeling and seeing the book do its work in the world, and hearing feedback and hearing people's stories. And it's been exquisite. It was so much fun. So that's the first book. Working on book number 2 now, called Beautiful Compost. And a lot of the healing that we're going through on the planet right now is embedded in every page of that as well. So we'll see. I don't know when that one's going to come out, but Fractured Grace is out there and available.
Wonderful. Oh, I like it. And just one last question, Julie, because it popped up while I was listening to you, is, I mean, if you sense that life is really taking you, and you are clear that you're an instrument, and maybe you are not so grounded in that like you are, because you had this experience quite early in your childhood. But what would you say if people as adults are noticing that and maybe are not in an environment where they could share so much about it, or where they feel a bit weird because the people around are, you know, more controlled, more from the mind, more intellectual, and so how to develop that and how to express that in a surrounding. Maybe you have a partner where you have a different vibration between you, or family. So how to be with that when you notice it and when you feel it's really it's the right way to go, but you are not in an environment and surrounding where you feel safe, secure enough, where you know, I guess you get what I mean.
I think it's a really important question. It is like the question of our time. And uh, I grew up with that. I mean, like, I am so connected to, oh my gosh, I'm an alien on this planet because nobody gets what so the old default created so much separation. It's our old default. It's our default. It's like, and here we are in a new operating system. And if we choose to go back to the default, we will create greater and greater separation. So it's a really good question. And for those who are feeling that, like, it goes back to that ecosystem that you talked about, is it's time to find the tribe, your persons, your thought partners, your heart partners. Like, find those people where you feel at home. Find that community. And yes, the world around us may look like it's not in receivership of us at this time, right? Yet, remember that so many of those who appear not in that resonance, in that deep connection right now, that they're in the default, knowingly or unknowingly, which is okay. Because part of our work is to emanate that level of resonance and that highest vibrational frequency of love that we can. And that wakes others, that pushes others into the new default. Okay, it makes the old default button obsolete. So us being that and finding those that we can gather with, whether it's 1 hour a week or whether it's 1 hour a day, where we're plugging into source through community. And I think that's the difference. We're not plugging into source alone anymore. There's a lamp right here on my desk, and it's plugged into the source of electricity, and it's lit up as on a lamp. And yet in this room, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lamps and overhead lights that are plugged into source together. And that's the new way of being, that it's time for us to plug into that wholeness, holiness, remembering our divine humanity and coming together to this place and grounding it, embodying it together. So if you're alone, if you're feeling isolated, if you're feeling weird, alone, separate, like you're an alien, you're misunderstood, you don't belong, I get that. I get that one so much. And we're healing that, looking at all the divides, the isms and schisms that we talked about earlier today. Is I felt that for many decades. It's okay. Relax into resonance. Find your people. Find your community. Create your tribe. Come over to the connection field. I guarantee you'll find someone that you really resonate deeply with. And there are other people are gathering all over the planet right now. People are doing this work in every country on the planet. This is the work of conscious evolution, and the evolution of consciousness is our work in this time. And there are lots of light workers, light bringers, way showers out there. So yeah, don't be discouraged. And again, I'll just bring us back to that one last place and close this. Remember that collective consciousness. If you plug into mass media, mass consciousness, you know what happens to your energetic body, and you know what happens to your level of consciousness. So remember, there are those out there that can help to buoy us, especially when we're feeling down, and to really help us to expand into our greatest and highest good as humanity and as individuals within that one planetary body.
Wonderful. I don't want to add a lot to that, because it really captures the reason why I host the summit, and your offerings are really beautiful. And just one image or one metaphor which came to my mind when you shared this, that yes, a lamp makes light, but when you put thousands of lamps together in the same resonance, it becomes a laser beam, and it can cut steel. And so it becomes a very different force than just light.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Julie, my dear friend on the other side of the globe.
Thank you, dear. It was just a delight again to be together with you, and to just feel that resonance, even, just through technology. I totally feel you and experience your presence and your light, and it's just such a delight. So thank you so much. And the invitation again to share with your audience, I so appreciate it. So thank you. Thank you for doing your work.
It's my pleasure, and I have no choice. It's moving through me, and I said, I don't argue with this force.
You can't, can you? No.
And I hope to you at home, wherever you are, and watched our conversation, you are inspired, and you know where you can go if you want to meet with like-minded people, or if you like to contribute something. So I really will also offer the links that you find out all about Julie's work and the connection field. And I hope to see you again in the next interview for the Conscious Evolution Summit. Bye for now.